Hey, what's up, ladies and guys? Welcome to video number 2 of the Amida Benford with a two-cylinder Lister diesel engine that I picked up in September of 2024. I do believe it was September 2024. And the videos that you're watching, the previous one on this one, the previous one and this one, all the video except for this intro was done last year. I have not had time to continue working on it throughout the winter, so now I am getting back into it. So the video, I'm missing some of the content in the video. Back then I was really sporadic when I was recording and when I wasn't recording, and I had a lot of other stuff going on. So to get you caught up to date, you got to watch video number 1, then you're going to watch the rest of this video. And I think that should be it until present day. I'm not going to give any hints away, but this video, the video number 2 that this is the beginning of the intro of, is basically me going through the whole system and doing a lot more troubleshooting to figure out if I can narrow it down to what's wrong. All right, well, hope you liked the video. Hope you make it all the way through to the end. And I'm gonna have more videos on this machine coming up. I have some videos on that Corvette right there. Check out some of the other videos. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe if you like my content. And feel free to leave comments. I normally say that speech at the end of the video, but I'm saying in the beginning of this video now. Feel free to leave comments. Just keep the language kid friendly. And I'd like to, obviously keep it an appropriate channel for all ages. And if you have one of these machines, let me know, because this is the first one I've seen like this, and I can't find any manuals for it of this particular model. I do believe it's a 31D. So anyways, yeah, hope you liked this video and the previous one and all the future ones. And like I said, check out some of the other videos. A lot of different types of content on my channel. Thanks for watching. Okay, well, we just finished tinkering around with it, checking out the system. Did a little research. Come to find out, that's a dipstick, and the dipstick is actually missing and broken off of it. That's why there's a hole in it. Found out it's a new age gearbox, and also it's more than likely low on fluid, but we found out what type of fluid has to go in that. I put some fluid in yesterday, but now we took our time and it's still low. So I am going to actually drain that and buy all the right new fluid for that. 1.7 liters of fluid. And then also there is this transfer case here, right there, that also has old fluid in it. And basically what that front gearbox here does, it takes the rotating spin of the drive shaft up here, transfers it down, and then that's where the front drive shaft and the back drive shaft come out of. So there's the engine transmission drive shaft goes in the top, and then it's probably like a chain. It's either a chain drive or gear drive from the top down to the bottom, and then you have a drive shaft going forward and a drive shaft going back. And you can see it right there. That's the bottom of the gearbox. And that fluid's really nasty and old. So what I'm going to do now is bring it, it's already on the driveway, it's not leaking any fuel. I'm going to back it up a little bit. I'm going to fire up my little DeWalt pressure washer, and I am going to wash this thing. Try to get some of this grease off of it and oil and crud from the years, and just let it dry while I do more research. And I am going to make a connecting rod for here while it's drying. That's my plans for the rest of the day. At least wash it and do my research on the fluid. I might have to order it online, I'm not sure. I'm hoping the local place has it. And I have like 1 can of engine cleaner I'm gonna use also to put on there to try to clean it up before I wash it. And I put air in the tires. They take 35 PSI tires. This is an oddball tire, but I am gonna price out new tires for this thing also. And then obviously I'm definitely taking that canopy off, that cab off, but not today. I need the excavator for that, and it's out of job. All right, let's wash this. I'm gonna set you up over here so I don't get my camera wet. And then I will start it up, move it over a little bit, and get to cleaning it. I have a little while before I get to go to the job site. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drain the oil out of that gearbox. And I do believe, I did my research. This is supposed to have a dipstick on it. And when I take it off, you'll see that it's not. And there's a hole in the top that should not be there. That should have a dipstick going down it. And that is also the fill. And I'm trying to get rid of that grinding noise. Well, it's not a grinding, it's a gear meshing noise. So the other day, my buddy Mike was here. We did a little experimenting. And I do believe the sound is coming from here. It's either come from this gearbox or it's coming from this transfer case. Either way, I bought fluid for both, but I'm gonna do this one because this is the one that the cover was off on. And when I got the machine, and I put 1 quart in, but it takes more than 1 quart, obviously. But I don't know what's in here, so I'm gonna get something to cover this, and I'm gonna drain it into this bucket. So I can kind of see, I'd like to see what type of fluid comes out of there, and if there's anything in it, like shards of metal or anything. So let me go get something to divert the fluid from draining onto the rear axle into the bucket. There we go. And the bucket is cleanish. So I gotta do this one-handed. I don't have something to hold the camera right now. All right, I need 2 hands to break this free. Hold on. End up having to get my breaker bar. See if that works. There we go. All right, I got it free with a breaker bar. Gear oil stinks when it gets on your skin. Eddie, here we go. That should be out. Yep. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Don't forget, I just put 2 quarts in, or 1 whole quart in here. And that is not a lot that just came out. And I dropped my drain plug. You know what? I can leave it right there. It's a good place for it. All right, let me go dry my hands. I don't even think 1 quart came out. And it takes 1.7 quarts or something like that. Or I forgot it. It's 3 pints. All right, let me go wipe my hands. Oh, I got to get the towel right here. Well, I don't see any parts, gears, or anything like that in it. So that's a good sign from here. We'll look at it when it's done draining. Let me let it drain for a little bit. So I'm looking in the drain plug, and look what's in the drain plug. Metal. Shards of metal. Look at that. That's not good. I'm hoping that's part of the dipstick. So, well, we'll continue letting it drain out. And we'll go from there. But yeah, that's not good. This transfer case or transmission is a new age 40M2 is a model. And then the rest of the numbers depends on the gear ratio that it's in. But it's a 40M2 new age. All right, well, let this finish draining out, and I'll figure out what else to do. So after cleaning out the drain plug, this is what I found in it. That's all on a magnet. So I think I'm gonna wait. And possibly flush this out with kerosene after work today. See if I can get more out of there. Just pour a gallon of kerosene in there and swish it around and let it drain for a while. That's how I used to do engines. All right, well, I gotta get back to the job site. This is just on my lunch break. I figured I'd run home and try this. Not good news, but we'll see. Looking at the parts a little better, those look like little round bearings. So I'm wondering if there's a blown bearing in the gearbox. Let me clean off a few more of the small pieces. So looking at some of the parts, they are all different lengths. That round rod, that was not round. But like these round pieces here, those are 3 different lengths. If they were a bearing, they should all be the same length. Then you got smaller pieces here. So I know it's missing the dipstick. I'm wondering if that's the dipstick. I do not know. That's definitely not the dipstick. That was definitely never around. Yeah, I'm gonna have to flush some kerosene through that gearbox. So I'm gonna get ready to run some kerosene into this thing. I'm gonna put the drain plug in and let some kerosene sit in there for a little while and see if that helps. I want to loosen it all up in there and try to get out more parts if there's any more in there. Drain plug is back in, And I have this oil can full of kerosene. So we're gonna filter the kerosene just to make sure, because I took the kerosene out of one of my kerosene heaters. And so this thing holds 5 quarts, 1 gallon, no, it holds 1 gallon of oil. So we're just gonna fill this thing right up. It definitely holds less than a gallon of oil, but I'm gonna flood the whole thing. Oops. Darn it. It's full. Yep. I just made a mess on my driveway again. Ugh. Never fails. I didn't plan on that. Let me get some Speedy Dry. Yeah, well, I threw some Speedy Dry in my mess down there. And now I'm curious to see how much more metal is in this oil. Looks like most of the chunks got caught in there's a couple right there. Looks like most of the chunks got caught in drain plug so far. And don't forget, I put 1 whole quart of gear oil in, and this is all I took out. So it they definitely ran this thing dry, or very, very low on oil. So I have all new oil to put in there, the best I could find troubleshooting online. Let that kerosene soak in there for a little bit. They say you can actually start these things up, gearboxes. They say you could actually start them up and run them with kerosene in it a little bit to move the oil, move it around and stuff. I'm not going to do that. I am definitely not going to take any more chances. This thing's already had a rough life. We're trying to fix it, not break it more. They say with no load. There's no way I could move this thing without a load on it. The machine itself weighs enough for me to consider a heavy load. But when I drain it, I obviously need a bigger pail than these, I think, to drain. But when I drain it, we'll see what comes out. So I have it filled to the top. I am going to let it soak. You can see right there, it's completely filled to the top. I'm going to let it soak for, well, a few hours. I'm going to go back to the job site. And if I get time when I get back tonight, maybe I'll do it. If I don't, I'll do it the next day I get time, actually. But this is the drain plug, or the top. And through that hole is supposed to be a metal rod that is the dipstick. I'll try to include a picture of one I found online. This is all the metal that was in the drain plug. The drain plug is a bowl, basically, so it collects the heavy stuff. And that round stock, where'd you go? All that round, hold on, let me try to focus this. And there you go. And all that round stock, it's all different lengths. If it was a roller bearing, I would think they'd be all the exact same length. But this looks like it got shredded in gears. It's all different lengths. So I'm hoping that that was the dipstick that fell off and fell in there. We'll see what comes out when I finish washing it, when I flush it out. Well, it's the next morning and the kerosene has sat in the transfer case all night long. I got a nice clean pan here. I'm going to attempt to drain it and without getting too covered in dirt or kerosene, because I have to go to work. I cannot do this one-handed because the drain plug is above the rear axle there. So I will put the camera down and I will try to get as much kerosene in the clear container as possible without getting covered. I have my new tin can. Oh, I already dropped dirt in here. There we go. All right, I gotta do this, let's see, one-handed. Let's see, can I? Okay, that's broken loose. I have a feeling I'm gonna get a face full of kerosene. Should really put gloves on. Okay, so now I'm gonna let this sit all day. Actually, let me see if I have any more. I'm gonna try to flush a little bit more clean right through it. Here's a drain plug. I just ran a 2nd gallon of kerosene through it. So now I'm literally just gonna let it drip drain all day long. I'm going to work, and then I'll blow it out with an air gun when I get home and add new oil, or I'll do it tomorrow, depending on how tired I am when I get home. All right, off to work. Hey, what's up, guys? I don't know where I left off. It's been a couple days since I worked on Benford here, the new Benford. So last I did was I drained the gear oil out of the 40M2 gearbox, which is a 3-speed transmission plus reverse, and I found the metal shavings in it. So now I flushed it out with kerosene a couple times, and it's been sitting here with an open drain plug for 3 days. I think it's been 3 days now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pan of kerosene out from underneath it, and I'm going to put a drain plug back in, and I'm going to see put more gear oil in. It takes 1.7 liters. I contacted New Age Manufacturing out in England, I do believe, through email, and they said for this gearbox to use 80W90 gear oil. So I picked up 2 liters of that, but it's supposed to take 1.7 liters. So I will guesstimate the 1.7, and let's see if that fixes the noise. And let's hope that all those little metal particles was the dipstick itself. Fingers crossed. All right, I'm gonna go underneath, throw that drain plug in and pull out the kerosene, and I'm gonna screen the old kerosene too. I want to see what came out when I flushed it. So here's kerosene, and there's metal. Oh nope, that's not metal. I thought those were washers, but they're not. They're parts of the pan. All right, let me get this out of the way, and I'll crawl underneath and put the drain plug. I'm pretty sure I covered this in the other part of the video, but it's been a couple days, so I forgot if I went over this. The metal in the gearbox, I am hoping, is the dipstick that's supposed to be here. Did my research, and this brass fill plug, which goes on the top, has a hole perfectly drilled in it. Perfectly drilled. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a perfectly drilled, like a 16th inch hole in the middle. Well, what's supposed to be in that hole is 162 millimeter, I think it's 162, top of my head, millimeter metal rod. That's the dipstick, and that's supposed to tell you how much oil you're supposed to have in there. Well, being that I don't have a dipstick, and there was round rod about that diameter, maybe a little smaller, in the gearbox, and that was it. I'm hoping that's where the dipstick went. So, fingers crossed. But before I sink more money into this, if this fixes that gear noise, the machine doesn't have a grinding noise, it has a gear meshing noise. It's a very distinct sound where you can actually hear the gears meshing nice and smoothly. There's no grinding, there's no banging, there's no clunking, there's no roughness. I had my stethoscope on when my friend Mike stopped over the other day when I was troubleshooting the valve body and all that kind of stuff, and I had him drive it, forward and back 10-20 feet while I had my stethoscope, and I was listening to where the noise was coming from. He is also under the same assumption that it doesn't sound like there's any broken gears, and it didn't look like there were any broken gears inside the gearbox. So with that being said, we're hoping it was bad oil, low oil, definitely low oil and bad oil, and it has those little metal shards in it, which I think are from the dipstick. So that was the whole point of me draining it, flushing it. Now I got the right amount of oil in it, the right oil in it. I am going to start it up and see if it works. I also ordered the part for this. I think it's the right part. It showed up today in the mail, so I will work on that this weekend. I just got home from work, so I'm trying to just see if this fixed the gear problem. And I don't like having the gearbox open that long, but I just got tied up at another job, so I wasn't able to work on this at home. So anyway, so I'm going to climb up in and start it up and see if that fixes any of the gear noise. I do have to tighten up that battery cable first though, because that positive battery cable is loose. If it fixed it, the machine's going to be a lot quieter. The engine's going to be loud, but the actual driving portion of it should be a lot quieter. If that wasn't the problem, there's there's another transfer case that's just in front of this gearbox that I have the oil. I did not drain, and I did not do anything with that one yet. If this doesn't fix that noise, then I'm going to tomorrow drain that gearbox and add new fluid to that one. But just for today, I just wanted to add this and close up that gearbox. Fingers crossed. All right, bad news. It's making the same noise. So there's two other things I'm gonna check. It's definitely not the front end because it's definitely not coming from the front. It's coming from the back. It's definitely not the engine, and obviously it's not the low fluid in the gearbox in the transmission. So it's either gonna be the transfer case, which is a G2000 new age transfer case, or it's gonna be the rear end. I know the rear end has a leak in it, or I'm pretty sure the rear end has a leak in it, so that might be low on fluid also. But it's the end of the day. I'm not dealing with it today. I'm gonna crawl underneath it just to look, but I don't think I'm gonna mess with it today. It's in gear and the parking brake is on. My driveway is on a hill, so I gotta make sure. But I'm gonna go back underneath and I'm gonna check the type of rear end that is in there, so that way I could double check that fluid also. I changed my mind. I'm gonna drain the front transfer case oil. I have enough. Yeah, I have enough of another brand, but the same oil, 80W90. So, and I think that one only takes 0.7. But that one has a fill hole. So that one, I don't need a dipstick. I could take out the bottom, drain it, put the bottom back in, take the top one out, and that's the fill port. And then once it's full, it'll start coming out, and that's when you know you have enough. All right, I'm gonna go take that one off. I need a different wrench. Here's a drain plug, and on this side up here, halfway through this gearbox, there's a fill port. So I gotta take this off, that'll drain it, and then take the upper one off that's up here and fill it. I'll be right back. This is the wrong size. I wonder if they're standard, because this is a 13 and it's loose and a 12 is too small. I bet you they're standard. I bet you that's 1/2 inch. Yeah, I can't do that. Let me get a 1/2 inch. Yep, 1/2 inch. Man, these things are tight. Let me go get a 6-point socket. I got a clean pan. I want to inspect the oil, so I'm not going to mix oils yet. There we go. My God, whoever put this stuff together last, or they haven't been off in years, one or the other. More than likely they haven't been off in years. All right, so here we go. And I know this has oil in it, or has some at least. All right, and let me open the top up, see if that makes a difference. Let some air in there to
There we go. It even has it coming out of the fill hole. So this, they said, takes the same 80W90 oil. I forgot what the quantity was, but basically there's a hole here. So I just pump it in here. I put the drain plug in, I pump it in here, and when it starts coming out, you put the cap on. Clean the drain plugs. And I didn't see any chunks. Didn't mean they didn't come out. Oh, looks good. The only other gearbox back here is the rear end. And you know what? While this is draining, the drain plug is on this side, so I gotta come back on your side to do that. And I'm gonna wash this one out so I can use it. There are no chunks in it, so it looks okay. So there's no broken parts in it that I could find, that I could see in here, which is always good. All right, let me come over on that side now while this drains. Oop. Yeah. Because that one's not a bolt. That's a bolt. That should be 18 millimeter. Yep. So that's for that. I don't know what this is, but that's a drain. Looks like an Allen head, which is going to be really slow. Is that the drain? Has to be. There's one on each side. So that's the lowest point, and there's no other place for it to drain. But this is the fill. Well, you know what? Let's plug this back up. Yeah, let it drain. All right, I'm coming on your side. And we'll wash this off first. Austin's home with the Corvette. There's some pretty good videos you could check out. I don't know why I just didn't close this up while I was over on that side. You know what? I'm gonna wait. My brain is in a fog today. I got too many things going on. All right, so this looks like a machine screw. That's weird. Ouch. Let's see if anything comes out. Taking a fill port off. I don't have any paper towels. Uh-oh. Nothing. I don't think there's any fluid. Uh-oh. Hey, Austin.
Yeah.
Go to my truck and grab the 3 bottles of gear oil off my driver's seat, please. I have not been in the house yet. Yeah, going through the garage. Can you open them up though for the cats? Just lock all the screens.
Yeah.
Hey,
What?
this drain plug wasn't even tight.
That doesn't surprise me.
There's no fluid. That's the problem.
Oh,
There's no fluid.
I think the Handito sway bar is loose again because it's clicking.
Okay.
You gotta put Loctite.
Okay. So, here's the problem. I just took the drain plug out. It was finger loose. I think that's a drain plug. But no fluid came out. That's not good. None. That might be the problem. There's no fluid in the rear end. And there's one here too. All right, well, we get the air hose. I'm gonna shoot some air in here and see if it's, make sure that's connected. All right, I just want to see if this hole is connected to this because nothing's coming out of it. Tuh. Yeah. Yeah, there's no fluid. This is gonna shoot out everywhere. I don't know. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this in and tighten it. All right, I'm gonna put that in and tighten it. I don't want to get dripped on. Is that a train? Oh, if it is, it's two different sizes. I can't get that in there. I'll do it from that side. Anyways, I got some oil. I'm gonna put oil in this, and I'm gonna fill it up until it comes out. Let me shut the air off. It's annoying. All right, I got some 7590 synthetic I'm gonna use. Now, where's that oil dripping from? Up top. Oh, when I blew air in, it blew it out the vent. All right, let's see, is this already opened? No, and I don't have a knife. All right, so I'm gonna use this. I should be able to get this in there. Yeah, there any in there? Oh, there is some in there. Yeah, let's. There is oil in there. I don't know if there's enough. Definitely dirty. It's been a long day. I wasn't planning on doing all this tonight.
Hey, sorry guys, my other phone slash camera battery or memory filled up because like I said, I was working all day. So the phone's been recording all day. So I'm switching over to the other camera right now. Does not have a wide angle lens, but what I did was I don't know when the camera shut off, but I drained the rear end fluid on the Benford with my big suction syringe type thing, and I put roughly 1.5 liters of 75 W90 full synthetic in it. And then I am getting ready to switching sides of the machine when I noticed the camera wasn't recording. Now I'm gonna go on that side of the machine where the camera was and put some gear oil in the transfer case itself, which actually goes from the transmission, it comes down and splits it to 4-wheel drive. So now I gotta go put oil in that. So I'm not sure how good this camera is underneath there, but it is what it is.
Same thing. When I pump it in this side, it's gonna pour out when it's full. And this is a lot smaller, so it should only take one bottle, or maybe one syringe. I'm gonna have to take a bath in kerosene to get this off me. All right, here we go. All right, all the gear fluid in the 3 rear gearboxes are changed. I gotta get off from underneath there now. Let's clean up and try it. All right, this is the last time I'm trying this today. I changed all 3 fluids. Let's see if it works. We're listening for that noise, the grinding, not the grinding, but the gear mesh noise as I'm driving forward under load. It's not supposed to be there. All right, I'm done for the day. No change. No change at all. It's doing the exact same thing. So those 3 fluid levels are good, and we're not the problem, even with the metal in it. It's something in the gearbox, one of the gearboxes though, but I can't tell which gearbox. I think I'm gonna have to take off a drive shaft, jack the whole thing up, put all 4 wheels up in the air on jack stands, take off the drive shaft, and go little by little, even spin it by hand maybe. But it only does it when it's under load. So when I'm rolling downhill, it's not doing it. When I'm under load is when you hear it. All right, well, we'll see. And here's the other thing I'm gonna do this weekend. That came out of the transmission, that's the kerosene. The oil's underneath there. That came out of the transfer case. No, that came out of the transfer case. That came out of the rear end. I am going to filter it to see what, that's the one that I had the metal in. So I'm going to filter it with a paint filter right there and see what else is in there. I'm going to filter this one to see what's in that one, and I'm going to filter this one. Not today. That's it's Friday night, so it's time to shower, get cleaned up, and cook some hamburgers. All right, see you when I get back.